So let's go ahead and wait for it to record. There we go. All right, let's start with our weekly recap. So we talked earlier this week about the city of Palm Springs issuing guidance to real estate agents. I got to tell you, I've been having more conversations with my friends up in the north who are in San Francisco and San Mateo counties, where they are still under a shelter in place and are not deemed essential. And so the guidelines that were released this week by the city of Palm Springs and by the Palm Springs attorney were unprecedented. And so I want you guys, again, the city attorney has asked, he forwarded this email to Jim Franklin and said that he was trying to get it out to all of the realtors in town and asked for our feedback on it. So I know earlier this week we shared with you what the guidelines were. I included it, all 17 of the guidelines, in the next 2 slides, and we're not going to go through them individually, but I'm going to ask you guys again to read through them. They are conceptually what could happen in order for a real estate transaction to take place, but understand this was written by the city council and city attorneys. We need you guys to tell us what's practical, right? So you guys need to look at the 17-step process and tell us if this is something you feel you might be able to follow, or if there's steps missing, if there's something else that needs to be considered that we can kind of bring back to the table so that we can take it to the city and they can understand sort of what some of the challenges are that we're experiencing. We're having lots of cooperation with them, but we need to give them the feedback, and we need that from you guys, because you guys are the boots on the ground, the ones out there actually practicing these things, these guidelines that they've given us. So we still say that, and they're still asking that we're doing no open houses. Open houses are prohibited. Virtual open houses are okay. We're asking that all showings be done virtually by virtual tour. And if you can't do it by virtual tour, or you can't do it but with a virtual showing, that you need to reach out to us as your managers and just have a quick conversation with us before an in-person showing takes place. Recognize that at some point, if the deal is close, that there may be an in-person viewing necessary. So the city is at least recognizing that that's something that may need to take place. The next 2 slides, again, I'm not going to go through all of these 17 steps because I know I lose half of you, but I want you guys to review these steps. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, one of the things I want to have you guys vote on, so if you would drop your vote in the chat for me. When we're done with these meetings, these PowerPoint presentations become available to you immediately. One of the ways we make them available is by attaching them to the invite for the event for the day, or we can email the PowerPoint to you directly. I think it's probably easier to attach it to the invite for the Google Hangout and have you go there to find it. But if you don't know how to go there, that doesn't really do you any good, right? So I would like for you guys to vote and now tell us how you would like us to get this PowerPoint presentation out to you after this meeting is over today. Do you want it attached to the Google Hangout and you'll go find it there? Do you want us to email it to you, or is there some other way that you prefer to receive this PowerPoint? I want to make sure you guys are getting this information, and as well the recordings of the classes too. We have all the classes, we're trying to record them, all the Google Hangouts, we're trying to record them. So drop your, oh, I love this. This is great. Okay, so everybody wants it emailed. What you're saying, I want you guys all to understand, is you're asking me to send you another email. Okay. All right. So as long as that's the case, I'm going to email this out immediately. Thanks for the LOL, Eric. I appreciate it. So I'm going to email this out. We will email this out immediately to you guys after the meeting so that you can review these 17 steps and let us know if there's something practical missing, or if there's something that just doesn't work in the way that they've laid this out. I think it's really progressive and really forward thinking of the city, and I'm grateful that we received it. When we sent this over to our attorney, Darren, he was blown away that we received something like this. Go ahead, Dwayne.
I just want, there's some language in there that I'm not happy about, but I can't do anything about it. So disregard where it talks about a home-based cover sheet. That's a Coldwell Banker process.
Yeah. And I took that out of there earlier and I put Sky Slope in. I meant to change that back again. I forgot. Yeah. And so one of the things that they did when they made this is they sat down with a couple realtors. They did include some realtors in it, and it does have that Coldwell Banker piece. I'm sorry, I forgot to get that out of there. But again, I want you guys to understand that this isn't like, these aren't directives. This isn't, this is just a suggestion for the city sees a way that we could do business safely. They laid it out on paper and said, okay, if they can do it this way, we could see that they could still function in a safe manner. And so it's really not a directive. It's just about getting us to think about the conversations we're having with clients. And really more the thing we keep talking to you guys about the most is you need to address the seller and buyer concerns. So it's about asking the client, what about this concerns you, Mr. Buyer or Mr. Seller, and asking them to share that stuff with us. So I'm going to skip past the 17 steps and let you guys review those. Again, it's not a directive. We just want you to tell us if there's anything you think could be added to that would be helpful. Whoops, wrong computer. Okay, so let's go. The next thing we have is that the City of Palm Springs has put out, and it's pretty neat that they did this. They put out this really cute little poster for all of us to be able to have. Be careful which end of town you're on, Dwayne. That could get you in trouble on the north side. So the city has provided this cute little graphic for us to be able to post. We just want to let you know it is posted at our front and our back doors to the office. The thing that we want to remind you is that they are asking essential workers to cover their faces. And so this practice of covering your face is important anytime you cannot practice 6 feet of separation. The reason they're having us do it when we go out is because people weren't able to get that 6 feet of separation. And so they have us wearing these masks. Again, in the office where we're at, we are able to keep a pretty good distance. When I'm in the office with my door closed and when Dwayne's in his office, we don't necessarily feel that need. But as things start to open back up again, it's really going to be up to each person and what makes them comfortable. You know what I mean? And we'll have some policies in the office. Go ahead, Dwayne. I can see your hand up.
Okay, I just want to make sure everyone is paying attention. So, for example, grocery stores, they're really tightening up. Yesterday, I went to get some stuff. They only let a few people in at a time now. You have to wear face coverings. They turn people away who didn't have masks. So
yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah, so this is serious. We want to make sure this is, you guys are aware. If you're going to the grocery store, the pharmacy, anywhere where there's a lot of people, make sure you take a face covering. It doesn't have to be a mask. It can be a scarf. It can be a scarf, whatever you've got, but your face has to be covered. They're not going to let you in.
And as a representative of our industry, because we are considered essential, they're mandating that all essential workers wear face coverings when they're out and about. We ask that you do when you're showing property. We ask that you do when you're doing anything where you have to be in front of a client, but we're asking that you don't do that if at all possible. So please, again, talk to your managers and we'll help you work through those challenges. I'll move on. All right. So we're going to just briefly talk about the coronavirus updates. I'm not going to get into the updates on the website. You guys can all go there. We've talked about this a lot. The one thing I wanted to mention to you was some updates that came out, the CAR president's message that came out yesterday. There were some things that were shared that I thought were interesting. The SBA, there's 7 little points here and we'll just review them real briefly. The SBA is unable to accept new applications. We know that money has run out for the PPP loans and EIDL loans. We already have new acronyms for that. PPP is the new one that I heard this morning. So I'm going to use it because I like it. Applicants who have already submitted their applications will continue to be processed on a first come, first served basis. And if you've already submitted an application, they're telling you to work directly with the lender. So you don't need to reach out to anybody at the state for processing. You can just continue to work with your lender to find out if there's any more information that they need to process that loan. And then if you've already submitted, or I'm sorry, they're also saying that you should still feel free to submit an application if you can find a lender that will take one, because as the funds are replenished through Congress, they're expecting that they'll start processing the next round. So if you or someone you know still needs that loan, even though the money has been depleted, please have them still file that application because they will start using the new funds that come in. And the next point is that Congress is likely to make an effort to replenish those programs in the next stimulus package. And CAR has requested from Congress in writing that funding be increased for those PPP loans. And so one other thing we want to remember is that they were talking about yesterday that California EDD should have the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program up and running by April 28th. Those applications are not available yet. But they're expecting that by the 28th, they will be up and running. And the PUA is extending unemployment benefits to the self-employed and independent contractors. I thought this was a well-known thing, but I had an agent yesterday ask me if any of this stimulus package was going to help us. And the answer is yes, it is. There is specific language written in that CAR and NAR have asked for significant benefit to self-employed, including realtors, and independent contractors, including realtors. So yes, this does include us. You guys are able to apply for these things. There's still the 800 numbers online that you can call in if you need help through CAR. And once the system goes live, they're expecting that people are going to get payments within 24 to 48 hours of being approved. So just again, if you need the help, feel free to reach out to the 800 line. You're always welcome to call us. I will be candid with you that somebody asked the question, do we know anybody that's been approved? My answer to that is no, I don't, because I haven't had anybody reach out to me and say that they needed help with it. So if anybody's been doing it within our company, it's been on a private basis, and I don't know, Dwayne and I don't know anything about it. So if anybody does need help, feel free to reach out to us. We're not the experts in it, but you know what? We're not the experts in a lot of things that we're having to figure out right now. So we'll help you with it, and we'll kind of stumble through it with you. So at least you won't be banging your head along the bottom on your own. Did you have something to add, Dwayne? Oh, no, looked like you were going to talk. Okay. So real quick, we'll just remind you again that there are 7 forms related to COVID that you need to be familiar with. The first 4 are CAR forms that came out a few weeks ago in regards to showings and listings with the PEAD and the new listing agreement. There's also that Berkshire Hathaway form that can be used when a client doesn't want to use that, when a seller doesn't want to sign the PEAD. There are also 2 new forms that were introduced last week pertaining to rentals. We're not going to go through those. We did that on Monday, but if you guys have questions about those forms, please feel free to reach out to us. And we will be checking in when Dwayne and I reach out to all of you next week. That's one of the talking points, is that we're going to be checking in to make sure that you have read all 7 of those forms. So if you haven't read them, this weekend is the time to go through and print them out and do that. I did have a couple requests from the office for us to print them and email them to you. I'm sorry, we just don't have time for that right now. We're down to a skeleton staff, and we are really, I'm pushing these girls really hard every day to get everything done that we need to get done. So unfortunately, we don't have time to print the forms for you. You guys will need to go into Zip Forms yourself and pull those up. Let's see. And we're asking again that you familiarize yourself with all of these forms so that you can use them to address client concerns as they come up. And again, these are individual concerns, and so we want to make sure that we're having an individual conversation with every buyer and seller, and have it often. Don't assume that because you had it once at the beginning that nothing's going to change. Clients' concerns may change, clients' needs may change, and you need to address those and check back often on that. One other thing I wanted to mention that I thought was really interesting, this came to me from an email from a 1031 exchange accommodator that I get emails from often, and I thought these extension deadlines for 1031 exchanges were interesting, and I thought some of you might be interested in this. If you have anybody who's in the middle of a 1031 exchange, on April 9th, the IRS published guidance granting granting deadline extensions for those 1031 exchanges. So for anyone who sold relinquished property in the 45 or 180 day deadline, and that deadline falls between April 1st and July 15th, their deadline has been extended. And so there's a couple of examples here that will give you some guidelines, but basically if their deadline fell anywhere between April 1st and July 15th, the deadline is now July 15th. So everybody has been pushed back, which is really helpful. If you have anybody that's in the middle of a 1031 exchange or is considering a 1031 exchange, please let me know. I have a personal client that reached out to me a couple days ago and asked me to help him with one. And so we're going to be figuring out and navigating that. So if you guys have any challenges with it, please reach out to me and we'll be happy to help you with any of that. And again, this slide will be available to you guys so that if you do need to review it later, you can. All right, so we're done talking about coronavirus for today. We're going to get on to some exciting stuff, right? And that's another thing that Dwayne and I sort of chatted about. We really want to make sure, because we recognize that what's happening and the changes in front of us are not short term. Right? I was having a chat with a friend last night, and she is just coming to terms with the fact that this is likely going to be our reality for the next 12 to 18 months, which tells us one thing. Most of us cannot wait 12 to 18 months for this to be over to go back to doing business the way we did, right? And so your corporate leadership and your executive leadership have gotten together, and we have decided that you guys have been asking us over and over again what you should be doing right now. So we actually put together a virtual sales and productivity contest. Not just a sales contest, but it's actually a contest that includes productivity items that you can be doing right now while you guys are at home, that will help you to get a little more connected and help you to, you know, just get your business going and get yourself prepared and figure out some ways that you can be doing things now. So what, pull this up. So what we're asking is that you want to make sure that you turn in you received an email for the sales contest, and it has this point system in the sheet. There's a little scoreboard and a little chart that you can fill out every week. Is Netflix a part of the contest? No, Sean. Well, it could be, depending. maybe YouTube could be if we were watching real estate videos. Watching a caravan, I think that could count. But we're asking that every Wednesday by 9 a.m., so before the caravan meeting, and we're going to chat about that a little bit too. Before the caravan meeting every Wednesday, we're going to ask that you guys snap a picture of your score sheet and that you're filling out at home, and you're going to send it in to us, and we're going to add those up. If you look at the prizes, there's some really cool things in there. There is actually, I think there's a bunch of Grubhub gift cards, and a bunch of other things. So take a look at this. It's really designed, you guys, it's really designed to get you guys engaged right now. You're asking us continuously what you should be doing right now. This is the stuff you should be doing. So really, I don't want you to look at this as a sales contest. I want you to look at it as a way for you guys to get engaged. And it's just something that we can all do with a little friendly competition to get ourselves sort of back in the swing of doing some things. So if you're not reaching out to your clients now, please make sure you are, and then please make sure you send in that form every Wednesday by 9 a.m. to Laura at Berkshire Hathaway or bhhscaproperties.com. Any questions on the sales contest? I know we're probably all scrambling and going to our emails to look at the detail, right? You guys have any questions on that, or we'll go ahead and move on? All right, we'll move on. The next piece that we want to talk to you guys about, and I got to tell you, I'm so excited about this. We announced at the beginning of the year at the sales meeting or at our awards that we were going to be doing, that we were going to be adding healthcare for our real estate agents, for our independent contractors. And we have fought with this and tried to figure out how to do it. And I'll tell you, your corporate leadership, in light of what's been happening, thought this was so important that they rolled the plan up and rolled it out about 30 days earlier than they were expecting to. So we're very excited that we now have some plans available that our agents are able to check in on. I will explain to you that I sat in on a call on this earlier this week. Some of these plans are underwritten, and there's all kinds of information on how it works. Not everyone will qualify, and it won't be a better plan for everyone. For some people that maybe a spouse has a plan with a company where they're W-2'd, that might be a better plan, and it'll really just be up to you guys to look. But really, it's just an option for you guys who want to get involved in healthcare, who want to get access to healthcare, and maybe haven't been able to do that. This is something that we're really excited to be able to provide to you guys. So we also have an 800 number set up through the company that we're doing this with for you guys to be able to call confidentially. You do not have to call us in the office. You're more than welcome to, but you don't have to share your medical information with us in the office. You can call this company directly. They've been hired by Mark and Gordon to sit down and counsel you guys on the different plans they have available and how they might be able to help you. And so that's definitely something that we're just excited to be able to roll out, especially during this time. So if any of you are interested in it, please feel free to reach out to Dwayne or myself, or you can call that 800 number directly and they will sit down and help you. So any questions on the healthcare? I saw we had a question about when the PowerPoint will be available, and that we'll email it out to everybody directly after this meeting. Anything else? All right. What does Sean's message say? There it is. Is this for all of BHHS? No, this is just a Mark Stark program. Just Mark and Gordon put this together for us to be able to do this. So this is just our three states that we're doing this in. Next As always, we have our marketing department is available to you guys. Again, for those of you who are asking, what can we be doing now? We've had lots of questions this week. It's interesting how every week it changes. You know, every week at the grocery store, they're telling us there's a new need. I think last week it was hair dye and clippers. We've been talking a lot about haircuts, right? And so right, looking fresh, we're looking fly, Dwayne. And so every week the need is sort of changing a little. And I think as you guys are starting to wrap your head around the fact that you're not just going to wait this out, you're starting to ask us, what can I do to market myself? How can I tastefully market myself right now? And so I would encourage you, as wonderful as the ideas that Dwayne and I might have are, our marketing department is significantly better at that than we are, or at least I'll speak for myself. They're better than I am at that, right? So we do suggest that you set an appointment with Maria and have a conversation with her about what she might be able to do, and what the marketing department can help you to do to market yourself in a tasteful way right now. I know that that's very challenging, and we want to make sure everything we do is tactful. So I want to go to our next slide, is our question of the week. We asked this earlier this week, and I'm going to ask it again. What is the best way to get something signed by the office? And it's always better to do this when she's here, right? The answer is that you're going to scan and email it to Laura, right? We said this on Monday, and unfortunately she was out sick on Monday, so I told you not to do it that day, but Laura is back in the office and she's generally here every day, and even when she's not here, she is able to check her email just to make sure that there's nothing in there. But if you guys have something you need to get signed, your best bet, whether it needs to be signed by the manager, the broker, if it's me, Dwayne, Forrest, you guys don't have to figure that out. All you need to do is email it to Laura. You can copy Dwayne and I on it. I'm always happy to receive those emails. What Laura does is she kind of looks around her and figures out who's closest and figures out who can sign it the fastest, and she gets it off to us, and she does it through DigiSign, so a copy goes back to you the moment that it gets signed. The other thing that'll happen is she'll come into my office 3 or 4 times and say, hey, you didn't sign that yet. Hey, you didn't sign that yet. Hey, you didn't sign that yet. And you guys don't get the opportunity to do that, or when you do, maybe I stop answering your call. So she can be the little thorn in my side, and that will get us to make sure that we get these things signed for you. And she's also able to help us if we need to get it in front of Forrest. She can get it to him as quickly as possible and knows the best way to do that. We have a little process for when things need to go to Nevada, whether it be digital signature or sometimes the wet signature has to go. We have that all worked out. You guys don't need to do that. You just get it to us and we will handle it for you. And if it's on the weekend, that's the one thing that we do ask on the weekends, please call or text your managers. If you guys need something signed and you want to email it to us, that's fine and dandy. But I'm going to tell you, I'm just like you guys. I'm noticing when I text you, you reply back, you show up to my meetings. There's 56 of you here right now. And we had 30 yesterday. So I'm really glad to see that works. You guys do the same thing with us though. When you need me immediately, if you need something signed over the weekend and it can't wait until Monday, or it can't wait until I see it on Sunday night, then just make sure you reach out to us and let us know. We're always happy to help you with that. Go ahead, Dwayne.
I'm just going to request, because I'm not on my email as much on the weekend, but I never have my phone away from me. So please text or call to let me know you're sending an email, because there a couple of weeks ago, I didn't get an email until Sunday night trying to unplug. And it needed to be signed sooner than I got it. So just text me or call me to let me know that you send me something to sign, please. Yeah,
I agree. So there's been times where sometimes, on the weekends I need to get away and I go for a hike and I don't have great cell service and I can't get a phone call, but I can get a text message. It'll come through every now and again. So that really is the best way, although I don't mind a phone call. That's always great. Tammy said I don't get the text. I don't know what that, oh, she's not on the texting system. We will get you added for some, I don't know why you're not, but we'll make sure that we get you added. We also had somebody ask us this week, oh wait, we're gonna go back. Wasn't where I wanted to go. I'm gonna go back to, oh, I'm missing our graphic. That's why I'm missing it. Okay, well, that's all right. We'll just go from here. Somebody asked this week, I lost my train of thought. What was I just gonna say? So somebody asked this week about Caravan. And I don't have the slide on here for our Google Hangout. That's what was supposed to remind me of it. That Caravan has started at PSRAR. And Dwayne and I chatted about this a little while. We were chatting about this yesterday. And we wanted to ask you guys, because I think I see the value in what PSRAR has done, and I see the value in what they're bringing. Jim Franklin let us know that next week they're going to be getting they're having Michael Kors come in to speak, and he's going to share some information. And Dwayne and I sort of chatted about what we want that message, how we want that message to be delivered to the office, and what that should be. And our answer is, I think the city has been very helpful with us so far. Anything that you hear at those meetings is and I'm sorry, yes, it's Mayor Jeff Kors. Anything that you hear at those meetings is it's all wonderful, but you guys need to remember that the direction comes from your broker, right? And so all we're going to do is I think next week, we were thinking that because we feel like that information is going to be so valuable, that our Google Hangout will probably direct you to go to that Zoom meeting next week. And then what we would like to do on Friday at the weekly recap is have conversation about it, right? Go ahead, Dwayne.
So I want to chime in because, so obviously, full disclosure, I'm on board of directors. But I don't always agree with the opinions shared, even when we were having the Mizell meetings in person. A lot of times those meetings, and I think Maureen and Tony and several of you can attest to the fact that sometimes opinions are expressed and not everyone shares that opinion. And if it's not the majority opinion, then sometimes they're a little harsh in their criticism of those opinions. So I want to caution everybody that just because they're saying something, that doesn't mean that everyone shares that opinion. It's information being presented, so take it as you will. But I'm a free thinker, and I don't like being, kind of condescended to because I don't share the majority opinion. That's full disclosure there from me.
Right, and I think in order of being just to be transparent with you guys, what I said to Dwayne last night when we were chatting about this was that we can't overcome any objection without including it. So I don't necessarily want to ignore any conversation that takes place. I want us to be a part of it so that we can discuss it and figure out what the best practices are for our brokerage. So I just want you guys to remember that regardless of what the direction is that comes from the city, and it's not that we're trying to override anything, we want to fall in line with things that the city is putting out, because I feel like they're working with us, right? We just want to make sure that that message from Berkshire Hathaway is united. And so we ask you guys that even if you're all welcome to form your own opinions, but before we give an official opinion to anyone, please come and have conversation with us. And exactly like Brian said, it's useful to be able to voice concerns, right? And I think it's a good place for us all to be able to have conversations. So I don't want, what I was trying to say is that I don't want what we're doing with our caravan. I don't ever want to try to compete with the wonderful things that the association or the city are trying to put together for us to be able to do. So what I think Dwayne and I chatted about, and we are going to ask you guys to drop your vote in the chat again, is that we chatted about potentially having on and maybe not every week, but potentially having you guys go to that Zoom meeting, and then on Friday being able to catch up. We will still post the virtual caravan at 9 o'clock though. And so what that means is that we may have the Google Hangout up and running, and we may just have the caravan running in the back.
Also, you guys, that caravan is live on our YouTube channel always. Yeah, Brian, we could do it later. There's definitely, if the majority says we want to do both and you want the live caravan, we can certainly arrange that. I'm fine to do that. But the YouTube channel is 24/7. So if you, for example, just missed it, you can go to the YouTube channel and watch the virtual caravan. They're labeled by date. I create a playlist by date so that they're all there.
So I've got one other comment from Janice saying it's nice to hear the agent make their comments before the video. That's actually one thing we're going to stop doing. We're not going to have everybody sit and tell us a story before we watch the video. What we're going to do is we're going to give you the opportunity to narrate the video, or you can speak while it's playing. Those will be the two options. But I think what happens is it's wonderful for the person speaking, but for the people listening, it's really hard to associate what you're talking about with a property if you're not looking at it. So what we're going to do is give you guys the opportunity that while those videos are running, you can speak, we can talk, or you can narrate the video. And for what I'm thinking, for what's going to be going on in the next little bit, narrating those videos might actually be your best bet to get those pieces across. So I would suggest that in those videos somewhere, yes. So I would suggest that in those videos somewhere you're putting in the price, You're giving us some sort of indication. And maybe this isn't the same video you're going to use for all your other marketing. Maybe this is a video just for Caravan, because I understand why we normally don't put price in those videos, right? We do it because we want people to call us back and ask us the questions. And it's a way to get people to engage in conversation. But think about who the audience is for this particular video, and make sure that you're directing it to them, because really the audience for these videos is other realtors, right? Yeah, I know. As long as it's, yeah, we have to be able to have the narration. I think it's very important, and we're going to just pop into the chat here and answer some of these questions. And Frank mentioned that the PSRER Zoom meeting turned out better than expected, and that we have Caravan playing in the background of other Hangout meetings. So what we are going to have that Caravan, and I think what'll happen next week by having you guys go to that meeting, Dwayne and I will be able to sort of perfect the video piece and sort of perfect what that looks like rolling out to you guys. It was a little, I think it felt a little clunky to me last week, but again, like, we're just kind of getting used to it and getting through sort of some of the, some of the obstacles and some of the challenges with it. But I think that'll give us an opportunity to just make it a little bit more, a little bit, nicer.
So I'm working with the other managers. Like, I had a training session with Vicky because she wants to add 5 to Caravan next week, but she doesn't know how to use Videolicious. So just I'm asking for your patience in that I'm trying to get everybody doing it the same way and consistently, so that we have the other offices sending their videos too. So just kind of bear with me as like Stephanie said, we're perfecting it. So there will still be some kinks to work out, but it is a work in progress.
Right. So I wanted to ask for you guys, does everybody feel like, and we'll ask this question again, I'm not going to just ask this once, we'll check back often. Do you guys feel like you would rather have a live Caravan with us in the office at 9? Or would you like us to provide a Caravan that can just be a video that you guys can watch anytime and allow you to go to the PSRER meeting on Wednesday? So if you had a choice of those two, which would it be? And if there's a hidden option C, like, you're more than welcome to throw that out there too. But drop that in the chat for us and let us know sort of what your thoughts are on that. We are really interested to hear. The next little slide that I liked that I got, this was another Zig Ziglar one. Was, before offering a solution, be sure to first understand the problem. And so I think this just goes back to a lot of the conversation we've been having. The conversation that we've been having a lot of is you guys coming to us and saying that a client wants to do something that we've told you isn't okay, and you asking me, how do I tell them no? And the answer is really just, it's about asking them what their concerns are. Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, what concerns you about having, Mr. Seller, what concerns you about having someone in your house, or an inspector or a buyer? Mr. Buyer, what concerns you about going into someone's house? What concerns you about what's happening right now? Let's just talk about that and have a conversation. It's tedious, it's taking time, it's taking lots of energy, and it's repetitive. And trust me, we feel you, because for every one conversation you're having to have, we're having 8. And so it is what it is, but it's what we got to do right now to make sure that we're really just addressing all of these concerns, because this is a new world for all of us. I had a friend last night, as Cheryl shared with you briefly, was on the phone with a friend last night who has been locked down and has not been leaving her house for the last 30 days. She's only left to go less than a mile away from her home. And she asked me, she's like, what are we going to do when we have to open back up? Like, how are we going, if this thing isn't going to just go away? Because I think she was of the opinion that in 30 days we would open back up and everything would go back to normal. And right, I know. And so but it's daunting. And I think this is the self-care piece that we all need to talk about right now. And that Dwayne and I yesterday were chatting, that we really want to make sure you guys are getting this, that while this is a change and it's not going away, it's not a death sentence, right? This is just a shift we have to make. We're all a little tired. And what I told my friend last night was, I've been going to work every day for the last 30 days. While everybody else has been at home, and all my friends have been home, I've been going to work. So when I leave the house now, yesterday I went to get gas, and I left the office and went to get gas. And I have in my car some gardening gloves. I have a gardening glove that I use, or a set of them that I use when I go to take the thing off the pump, right? And it's not a perfect solution, but it is what it is. I was on the phone with an agent and helping him solve a problem when I got to the gas station. Normally, I would have been on the phone, popped in the headset, gotten out, done my gas, got back in the car, and not thought another thing of it. But as I was sitting there, I realized I can't do what I'm doing on the phone and pay attention the way I need to pay attention out there right now. So I had to stop with getting gas, finish the conversation that I was in the middle of, and then go get gas. And it killed me to stand there and wait for that pump to fill up. But when it was done and it said $40, I was okay with that, right? So I think it's just a good example for us on a lot of these things right now, that we're used to doing things a certain way, and you're going to learn. You will have the same little kit in your car that I have if you haven't been leaving your house. You will get that. You will get the kit that has the Fantastic or the 409 or the Clorox bleach spray and a bag of rags, or whatever your little kit is that you're going to need in order to make you feel comfortable. I know that there's a certain order that I do things in the office now, or a certain order I do things when I get home. And you'll have those routines that you'll build in. We've been building them. Dwayne and I have, and the girls in the office have been building them for the last 30 days. And we have a way to do it now. It's still a little tiring, still takes a little extra time and effort and energy, and we have to be a little kinder to ourselves. But that's really the message we want to give you guys today is please give yourselves the time to do the things you need to do right now. It's going to take more time and it's going to take more energy. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Well, I want to piggyback on that, because this is, and Kate said something and I agree with her. So this new normal that we're in, it's an opportunity for us to kind of stop, reset, rethink our way forward. And it's an opportunity for us to be better at what we do. And I love this: before offering a solution, be sure you first understand the problem. A lot of what Stephanie and I do is listen to you guys. Sometimes in your telling us your situation, you've solved it by telling us, right? And so carry that forward with the people that you're dealing with. And I don't want to just say clients, because it's not just clients, the people in your lives. Just take a minute, listen.
Right.
And that's what people need sometimes. They just need, and I do this with Stephanie a lot. I'm like, I don't need you to respond or solve anything. I need to get it out. And then I literally vent and I feel better and no one gets hurt.
And Dwayne, I was having a conversation with an agent on the phone yesterday. And at the end of the conversation, I was left feeling horrible because I made her feel horrible. Like I don't know what happened, but we were not connecting on that call. Like we just weren't understanding each other. And I think at the end of the call, when we hung up, what I realized is that I don't know for her where she's at, but I know for where I'm at, I'm a little spun out right now. And I'm kind of making sounds that only dogs and dolphins can hear sometimes. And again, what that's starting to make me realize is that I was able to do this for 30 days. But like the chest pain that I have, the anxiety that I have, 5-6 times that I'm waking up in the middle of the night wondering if I put the stupid production report in the PowerPoint and you having dreams that I'm running away from you or whatever it is. All this anxiety that's built up in us right now, we can't do this forever. So I just need you guys to take a little time. We're going to do some things next week to involve some self-care and to just maybe start thinking about mindfulness. I will be just transparent with you guys and share that I've started meditating again, and it's helping. I started even just doing a little stretch yoga in the morning. I've been having really bad back and neck pain. And the stretch yoga, some things started popping and cracking in me that haven't in a while. So if I could give you guys any piece of advice, is that over the next bit, and I say bit, but it's going to be the next long haul, things are going to change, and we're all going to have to look at some new ways to do things. And I think, like you said, Dwayne, this reset is giving us an opportunity to just find a kinder, gentler way. I saw a meme the other day that said, if you come out of this trying to get back to normal, you didn't get the point.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really good point that we all need to slow down, right? Like what we've been doing was working for us in the moment, and that's okay. We don't need to beat ourselves up about it, but we need to adjust what we're doing right now. And that also came from me chatting with one of our agents who I was trying to get to do a mindfulness moment for us. And she said, Steph, after I got off your call, I was so, and she couldn't come up with the word. And I said, amped? And she goes, yeah. And I said, well, that's why I need your energy, because Dwayne and I really do have this energy where we're lifting up, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves too that we got to slow down a little bit and calm down. So we appreciate you guys. I want to go to the chats real quick because I see some interesting comments popping up, and I'd love to just have some conversation about it. So I want to see what you guys said about Caravan. And I love the comment, Tony, about when they're going to start delivering breakfast. If they do, I want to make sure I get mine. The name of the YouTube channel is BHHS Palm Springs. And that is where our caravan is parked, and we're working on making sure that we get all of our videos uploaded to that as well. And then you guys were asking for the caravan at 9 still. So I think what we'll do, because again, we really want to, I think we want to be a part of that conversation, or at least be present for it on Wednesday. Do you agree with that, Dwayne?
On this one, I do.
Yeah, I think it's important. So what I think we'll do is I think we will still post our caravan on Wednesday at 9. It may actually be a little bit earlier. We can post it earlier, so it'll just be available by 9, so you guys can go on and look at it. But I think we're going to want to be present for the conversation as well. So I think it's important to have at least one of us involved in it, Dwayne. So why don't we plan for that for next week? The caravan, we will post for you. But for the meeting piece of it, we are all going to listen in on the PSRAR Zoom meeting so we can hear what Mayor Kors has to say. And then on Friday, you guys please all tune in again to our weekly recap, and we will give you a chance to unload and sort of unwind on that and have conversation about what it means. Because again, anything that's said there is conversation, it's not a directive. If there is a directive, it's going to come from the brokers, right?
Yeah.
Your association's generally not going to give that.
Yeah, Stephanie and I were talking, and we would really like your feedback. It's I was presenting yesterday, and I told Stephanie I felt like I was screaming into a black hole, and it takes a lot of energy for Stephanie and I to maintain this. So I think on Fridays is a great opportunity. Doing the recap, give us some feedback. Let us know if you're out there. Let us know the situations that you're in. Really, it helps us, the interaction, because we are accustomed to interacting with you guys, and right now we feel like we are just projecting out and we're not getting feedback. So I think it's really important for both of us if you guys could just kind of touch base with us, give us some responses. We need that. So please.
You know what? There's something missing from our presentation here, and I don't know how it happened, but Dwayne, I need to pull this up because we need to chat about this. I don't know how this happened. We are missing our production report, and we need to discuss it because it's kind of important. Give me a minute here. Let me get it pulled up because we need to chat about it.
No worries.
This was important stuff. This was really, really interesting. Let me see if I can find that email from Laura. There it is with the sales report, and I'll pull it up and just put it on the screen so you guys can see it. Let's see. How do I do that from here?
And while you do that, I'm going to answer John Bakari's question. So John wanted to know, maybe we should do fewer hangouts. John, I think it's important for Stephanie and I to stay in front of everyone who wants to participate. So we won't stop doing the 5 days a week just because we feel it's important. I've gotten a lot of feedback from people saying it gets them going. Knowing that we're here at 9 o'clock, whether they're involved or engaged or not, they start their day by knowing they have something to do, and then that kind of sets them up for the day. So for that reason, we're not going to stop doing the hangouts for the duration.
And you know what we'll probably do is we'll roll them back a little bit. Again, the time that we spend doesn't have to be an hour every day. It can be a little bit less.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see, can you guys see this now? Yeah, now you can see it. All right. So here's what I want to share with you guys. We talked about this earlier this week, and I want to go over something. Our production report for the month of March, we took $20 million in new listings, and we closed $42 million in sales. So what I did, I thought that those numbers were amazing, and it's a little hard to quantify because, a year ago, we were sort of a different company. Actually, a year ago, we were two different companies. So a year ago, there was Berkshire Hathaway Palm Springs, and there was Tarbell Palm Springs. And then there was Berkshire Hathaway Tuckwitz and Palm Springs South, right? And so those two offices have now come together. At the time, we were an office of 30 and we were an office of 75, and now we're an office of 135. So the landscape is a little different, so take that into account with what I'm going to tell you. But last year, for the same month, our production, the total listings taken was 17 million versus 20 million, okay? And then for solds, last year, this time, for the same period, we sold $18 million. And this year we did 42 million. So I think that is not just a testament to the market and what's been going on, and the fact that buyers and sellers were super confident when all of this happened and still had you put sales through. But I think it speaks to just how much you guys have grown your business and have grown the market share of this particular office. Our market share is significantly better this year, and we already had good market share, but we have amazing market share now. I will share with you for the month of April, the starts are significantly lower. You will definitely see numbers drop. However, for revenue, that means like your commission earned, we are still above goal. We're at almost 2 times what our goal should be for closings. And that's commissions earned. It doesn't mean the number of transactions that are happening. And I want you guys to understand, Dwayne and I were very aggressive this year when we set our goals for growth. We set our goals to be 60%. That's unprecedented and ridiculous, and they laughed at us at corporate, but we're still hitting 100% of that right now. We're very, very close to it, which means that we're still at 60% growth over last year. So that is just a huge testament to what you guys are doing. I mean, I'll show you, this is what the report looked like a year ago. And you can see what it looks like on the screen today. It's a significantly different number of transactions. And so you guys are really proud of it.
Real quick, you guys will see postings from our competitors about their production. I want to just quantify this by saying this is Palm Springs. This is Berkshire Hathaway Palm Springs. Those other reports that you see in the marketplace are company-wide or amalgamation of several offices. So I want you guys to be really proud of these numbers because this is just our little engine that could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty big deal. I mean, when you think about it, $42 million in closed sales. And we felt it, by the way, guys. Like Melissa was so busy that first week after the shutdown. Literally, it was like an escrow sausage factory. Like she was just shoving everything through. But again, that's a testament to our buyers and sellers having not backed out. And we were talking at the state level. We heard from the CAR, we heard the economists give an update on what's going to be happening in the economy. And it really, they're talking about the fact that they think commercial real estate will probably take a bigger hit than residential real estate will, because everybody's really realizing right now that they don't need all those office spaces. That they're able to do things through Zoom meetings, and all that air travel hasn't been necessary, and all those other things. We're doing things in a different way. That's probably going to be the hit. But I got to tell you, all those people right now that are crammed in their homes, that are too small and not what they need, those people are rethinking life right now. And so those are going to be the people that we need to tap into when things are a little bit better, but they're the people you need to be checking in on now, right? Because those are those future clients, so those are the people that you got to get into a relationship with now. So don't miss that. Let's look at the chat. Anything else exciting here that we want to chat about? All right. So I did see Brian made a comment that he thinks these are useful and would like to get more tips on how to get leads in this time. And we were just talking about a mastermind session. So what I would like to do, maybe while we're here, for anybody who is interested in a lead generation mastermind, we could do a separate Zoom meeting. Why don't you just drop a comment in the chat right now? If you're watching this video after this meeting is over, just drop an email to Laura or to Stephanie or Dwayne, and we will get you added to that mastermind group. We would be happy to do a lead generation mastermind or any other kind of mastermind that you guys are interested in. We'll probably be doing a luxury mastermind soon, just so that we can get all of our luxury agents together for a nice little conversation. Any other things that you guys think would be helpful, we are here to facilitate that. This is not just about us putting on content that we think you want to hear. We want your feedback so that we can put on the stuff that you need, right? Otherwise, we could take the mornings off. No, I'm kidding. That'll never happen. Let's see. Any other comments that we've got here? Just want to make sure I don't miss anybody. For some reason, I'm not seeing. There we go. Also interested in lead generation meeting. Awesome. All right. Anything else? Any other topics that you guys would like to hear us talk about? Would anybody be interested in mindset training? I like hearing what other agents are doing at this time. Obviously, we can maybe try to do some. Not necessarily thinking like top producer panel, but I'm thinking like somebody that's like a mover and shaker right now. People that are finding ways to do things, I think would be really helpful. If you guys know of any good success stories that would want to be a guest speaker on one of our meetings, we'd love that. But again, this is really about you guys. So let us know. Oh, mindset training. So I just asked about that. Either talking about, I think what we're going to be doing in a lot of this stuff is kind of injecting a little bit of mindset into all of it. But one of the things that I'm putting together at the state level for some people is a Wake Up YPN yoga session. And so if any of you guys would be interested in maybe doing some either just mindfulness exercises or even maybe doing something like a yoga session, I'd love to hear if you're interested in that, because we'd be happy to set it up for you. Not something that you would normally see me volunteer for, but I will tell you, it is making a big difference with me right now. And if any of you know how wound tightly I have been lately, you know that I needed it, right? And so for those of us that are, it wouldn't be a bad thing. If any of you are interested in that, please definitely drop a message in the chat, and we'll talk about that. I just thought it would be worthwhile to bring up. But mindset training, we can also talk, Bill, you and I have talked before about doing neurolinguistic training and embedded commands and some of that stuff. We will include a lot of that stuff in some of the trainings we'll be doing over the next few weeks. Anything else? Anything else you guys are looking for that you want? Somebody asked how many people are in the office daily. We don't have more than 1 or 2 people in the office a day. And so that just, it's helpful to us that we're able to keep the office as sort of just as in control as possible, and that we're able to keep it sanitized and sterilized. So it's been helpful. Most of you, if you're getting commission checks, we're walking them out to your car. If you don't have direct deposit, for those that don't have it set up yet, but most of you have gotten direct deposit set up now. We are, you know, that's something that we've been thinking about, is what's going to happen when things start to open back up, and what's going to happen in the office when you guys start to come back, what that's going to be like. And we've been able to control and manage things very easily because it's just been 4 of us here, but that'll be interesting. It's going to be a challenge, and we're going to probably ask that you guys are just flexible with us on it. We're also going to ask that you respect everybody's differences. You know, some people are going to be comfortable with a mask on, some people will be comfortable without it. If, you know, someone gets too close to you, don't hesitate to say, please step back, but also be cognizant and mindful of the fact that you may make somebody uncomfortable by getting a little too close to them right now. I think we just all need understanding, you know, and I don't think there's anything more that we can do than just give some understanding and just a little bit of space to everybody to wrap our brains around this in our own way, right? Do you have anything else to add, Dwayne, before we let everybody go? I think ending on this production report was pretty good. And I'm really excited again about that sales contest and the productivity contest that we're doing. I would urge you all to go through that list and look at it. There's all kinds of things on there I know you guys are already doing. So you're already going to be able to participate and get points in the contest. But please participate and fill those sheets in. We will be reaching out to you guys individually next week, and this will be another thing that we're going to talk about, is the contest. We'll be reaching out to you guys to have chats about that. And so again, just let us know if you've got any questions about it. Please get involved, please get engaged. We're super excited to have this as something that can maybe take our focus off of everything else that's going on right now and sort of get us back into being productive. Okay, so you guys have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend. Let us know how we can help you. We're always here, and we appreciate all of you. Have a great day. Thanks all for checking in.